Hey Vibers, it's your boy Kai. Welcome to another episode of the Vibe with Kai podcast. Today we're diving into a topic that's close to many of our hearts. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you're going to find out what the topic is as soon as our guest finds out what the topic is. Speaking of our
You are
guest,
so excited. You're
I
laughing
am.
so hard
I
right
am.
now.
I am because this is hilarious. And for those wondering, I'm going to tell you why this is hilarious in a second. But let me introduce you to our guest today, who has no idea why she's here. Joining us again, one of my favorite guests, Chelsie Maccarone, talented therapist and owner of Healthy Minds and More Counseling Services. With their extensive experience in mental health and care and a master's in mental health counseling, Chelsie brings a wealth of knowledge and insight. Today, we're going to explore the world of, I'm not going to reveal that yet, but we're going to explore it and we're going to understand its nuances and we're going to debunk some myths along the way. Chelsie, welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks. I must have had a really good topic. I don't remember what it was, but
This is hilarious. Okay, so for those of you that are listening, Chelsie and I booked this. How long ago did we book this?
don't remember.
It was last year.
Yeah,
we
probably.
booked this we booked this last year, and now we're recording. And so when I hop on to greet our friend here, Chelsie has no idea what the topic is.
Forgot
meanwhile
what I
i've
put.
Meanwhile, I've been a good host and prepping for the topic and making sure that that we answer as many questions as possible. Meanwhile, the guest shows up and is like, okay, why am I here? What is this for?
Oh, it's something with couples. Something. I don't know.
Couples therapy. We're
Yes.
talking about couples therapy. So you hear that, readers? You are finding out, readers, they're reading
Reader.
this. They're reading this. You hear that, listeners and watchers? Our guest is finding out what the topic is
Subscribers.
at the same time that you're finding out what the topic is. So luckily, though, for us, Chelsie is full of so much knowledge about so many different things. And why prep for an interview when you already have the knowledge inside of you?
Yeah, the best way. And then it's entertaining. So here we are.
It is entertaining. That is a true story. Um, well, welcome back. How are you? How have you been? You
Me.
haven't been on in a minute. Did you miss me?
Yeah, I did. I did. I miss doing these. It keeps it fresh, I feel like.
I didn't ask if you missed doing the podcast. I said, did you miss me as a
Yeah, I missed
person?
you. Yes, I missed
Okay.
you. Hey,
Oh.
you asked me if I was ready to start. I said no, let's keep talking like socially, but you wanted to start, so here we are.
Yes, because some people have some stuff to do today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're recording this. For those of you that follow me, you know that I've been on vacation for the last 10 days. And Chelsie decided to schedule this podcast interview the day that I get back from vacation. She didn't know. She didn't know that I was on vacation. However, I'm such a dedicated host that I prepped for this podcast while on vacation.
Wow.
Yes, I prepped for this podcast while on vacation. Meanwhile, our guest didn't prep for shit.
Hey, I probably prepped for it before I put in the topic, and then now
That's
I'm just
fair.
like I
Sure.
forgot.
Good save. So today, friends, we're talking about couples therapy, couples counseling. And we're going to be understanding its nuances, debunking some myths along the way, talking about, okay, when should I go? When should we go? Answering all of those questions and more. So let's get right into this. I want to talk about the misconceptions, right? Because we're going to
Yeah.
get into like what couples counseling is in a second, but like when sometimes when people think of couples counseling, they either have the right idea of it or they don't. What are some
Yeah.
common misconceptions about couples counseling?
I think one of the biggest ones is when you hear of like a friend or your parents or whatever going to couples counseling, you're like, what's wrong? Like, are you getting a divorce? What's happening? Um, and so I feel like not always. And however, I will say a lot of couples will wait until it's too late to start couples counseling,
Mm,
but you don't have to necessarily wait until you need a root canal to get to the dentist, right? And so I think and you might have these questions later on, but I'm going to answer them now. I think sometimes couples therapy earlier is better,
Okay.
um, so that you aren't waiting until you need oral surgery.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, what do people get wrong about it? Like, what is it? Like, what is it
So
that
I
you
think
would?
sometimes, yeah, I think sometimes when couples are thinking about going to therapy, they're like, oh, but we're not that bad. Our issues aren't that bad.
Right, right, right.
We don't need to go. Like we're okay. Da 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 da
Mm-hmm.
da da. You know,
Right, right.
that
But
kind of stuff.
they do. I think because
Yes.
like I mean I'm a personally I believe that everybody should go to therapy. Even if you don't think you need it, you probably need it. Like it helps to have conversations with somebody that has an unbiased 30,000 foot view of your life that can help you. So if you have the means to do so, go do it because like you don't have
Y-
to, like you said, you don't have to have a cavity in order to go to the dentist and
Right. Yeah. Don't wait
get
for your
checked
engine
in.
to blow up to go to the mechanic, right?
I like the figurative language that we're
I'm
using
all
here.
about metaphors. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, no, I think when it comes to couples counseling, uh, think about how complicated you are as an individual. And then you have
I'm a simple
two,
man. I'm a simple man. Give me cheese and I'm happy.
yeah, but we're still complex creatures, right?
Yeah,
Even
you're
if we're
right.
simple, there's so many layers to us. Then you add a
Hmm.
second person to that mix with different layers, different preferences, and
Hmm.
different
Hmm.
expectations, and different
So
baggage. And,
what is couples therapy? What is it?
ooh, yeah. So I guess I should preface like, yes, I do couples work, but like I am not by any means like a couples therapist, right? Like that's not like my only niche. Like there are
Hmm.
some people where they'll only work with couples. But I do couples work. Couples therapy really is very similar to regular individual therapy. You come as a couple. You come together to talk about hiccups, hangups, worries, concerns about the future. Um, some couples will go for family planning or maybe infertility.
Mm.
Other couples will come for building trust back after a breach of trust, whether it's infidelity, whether it's financial breach of trust,
Hmm.
things like that. Um, so, I mean, no problem too big or small. When it comes to couples
Right.
therapy, I'm currently working with a couple right now where they're coming to me for parenting and they
Mm.
can't see eye to eye on parenting. So we're kind of helping, kind of working through that and like bridging
Right.
that gap, you
Right.
know?
So you were talking earlier about how sometimes couples will come late, right? Like they come
Mhm.
after it's too late. What is a sign that a couple should consider going to couples therapy?
Oh, a sign for them to consider. So if you are having the same argument,
Hmm.
maybe with different makeup or different outfit over and over again, it's the same argument, different details, but the same thing. I would suggest going to couples therapy because there may be something deeper there.
Mm.
There may be some more underneath the layers that isn't really getting addressed. It might be more than he's not helping enough around the house and she's too naggy, right? But if that's the constant theme, it might be time for couples counseling so that it doesn't
Hmm.
build resentments and you're not arguing and like to the point where it's escalating past, hey, can you take out the garbage? Hey, can you stop nagging me? Right.
Right, right,
But if it's a pattern, if you're seeing it repetitively, I would say go to therapy before it gets too big.
right. And I would imagine, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, I would imagine when it comes, I mean, to any therapy, but couples therapy specifically, like the therapy part of it, going to a therapist, it doesn't solve everything. Like it requires you to put in the work
Yes,
together outside of therapy as well. Am I correct?
yes, yes, 100%.
Give me a degree. Give me a degree. I got it all figured out.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, for any of your listeners who have been in individual therapy and are like, ooh, what about couples, right? Like, think about
Hmm.
like the work that you're doing for yourself in between your sessions of
Mm.
individual therapy. Then you're going to have to carve out the time to do some of that work with your partner in between
Hmm.
sessions.
Right.
Whether it looks like a meeting. I use the terminology executive meetings with
Mm,
my couples that I'm working with, and I actually personally do this in my marriage as well.
hmm.
Um, I call them executive meetings because if you think about marriage, take out the romance, take out the love and the mushy stuff. Like if you think about marriage, or cohabitating, you're running a business.
Right.
Your finances are combined. Your household is combined. Maybe you have fur babies who are your little staff, or you have children
Hmm.
who are your little staff, right? Like you are essentially co-owners of a business.
Right.
Um, and I think it's important to be just like any business owners and business partners to be on the same trajectory, same path. And the only way you know to do that is to have purposeful, intentional check-ins.
Mm,
And I know that kind of takes like the love and romance out of it, but if you think about it, like you're really planning for the future. So you're staying on track, you're staying on target so that you can have space for the romance. So the romance and the love doesn't fizzle out, doesn't die. Because if you
right.
think about it, you're at your 9 to 5, they're at their 9 to 5, and slowly but surely you kind of gravitate away from each other, or
Mm,
can. Maybe you don't, but you can, as the potential is there. So if you're not purposely coming together saying, hey, are we still on target? Are we still on our budget? Are we still having enough family vacations? Like are our um things that we prioritize, are they still in line with each other? Are
right.
our values still in line with each other? Are we still wanting to go to church or temple or synagogue or whatever? Like
Right.
what's going on? Are we good with the kids? Are we good? Like whatever the case is. And so
Right.
I think people get so stuck in the mundane
Mm,
daily, go to work, come home, eat, go to sleep, go to work, come home, rinse and repeat of it,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
they forget about their partner's needs too.
Right. So when a couple, like say when a couple first comes to you and they're sitting down and they're like, okay, okay, Chelsie, fix us, help us. Like what is your approach like initially when a new couple comes into your practice?
That's kind of like a multi-layered question.
Sure.
Because there's like a few things that I definitely hit on. I guess I kind of go over, I don't hate using the word rules, but I guess
Mm-hmm.
like parameters of couples counseling, like no secrets. Like I
Mm.
don't want to be in, because sometimes I'll do individual work with the couple, right? And I don't want to be in an individual check-in session with one of the half of the partner, and then they say, I'm having an affair, but don't tell my other partner. Like, don't
Oh
tell my
boy.
spouse. Like
Has that
that's
happened?
no, that's like not to me. I'm sure it's happened
Oh,
because
well,
it was
right,
taught
right,
to
right.
me in school. Like I'm sure it's
Yeah.
happened. So I always kind of set that premise, like,
Mm-hmm.
don't ask me to be your secret keeper. Like I am not Pandora's
Mm.
box. Don't put things inside me, right? Like, oh,
Right.
yes. Don't give me secrets to keep. It's late. I'm sorry, Kai. Um, I'm virtual, so
I'm keeping all of that in.
your listeners are like, oh my God.
Believe it or not, not the worst thing somebody has said accidentally. So you're
Oh wow.
good.
You'll have to tell me what that was off air.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so like I kind of make that premise first, because that's a really tough position to put your therapist in, as if you're like, don't tell my spouse.
I'm
Mm-hmm,
sorry. That's
it's
just
fine.
I can't. That was really funny. I'm sorry. Oh no.
You thought the funny part was gonna be me not knowing the topic.
I know. I know. I don't just the transition to from you saying it to you to you realizing what you just said was that's forever going to be etched in my brain, and that's classic. And I'm so happy I witnessed that. So happy.
Like
And
you could see it like
I
in
could
my face, like
see the process happening. It was in slow motion for me. And it was like, did I just say that? Yeah, I just said that. Oh well, let's just roll with it. Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
that's
You were on
okay.
a roll.
I
I'm
was for a
sorry.
short while on social media keeping like a running log of stupid shit I've said in session. And it was kind of funny. But I've since forgotten them. But like without context, they sound
Yeah.
so bad.
That's the best part. That's the best part. Okay, so
Yeah,
um
I forgot what we were talking about.
couples therapy, our
Yeah,
topic.
don't tell me secrets. I gotta take this off. I'm so hot. I was freezing and now I'm
Yeah.
hot. Probably because I'm, saying embarrassing things on air. But yeah, so okay, so that's kind of, I guess, like the first thing, one of
Yeah.
the first things. I don't know if it's in order, I guess it's
Mm-hmm.
all organic when I'm with
Yeah.
people. But the other thing that I'll do is I'll figure out why they're there,
Mm.
what brought you to couples counseling, and
Mm-hmm.
are we working on salvaging the marriage, or are we working on separating in peace?
Mm. Do you find that couples already know what they're there for when they come to you, or do you help them figure it out, or is it
I
half
think
and
it's a
half?
mix. It's
Yeah.
a mix. It's some
Yeah.
kind of a
They just
percentage.
kind of like know something's off sometimes maybe, and they just want to be like, "Hey, can you help us figure out what's going on here?"
Yeah, I mean, I did have one couple recently that I can draw from where um they came because there was infidelity. It wasn't
Hmm.
like the partner didn't have like sex with the person or anything, but like there was like an emotional thing going on.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
And so they thought they were going to recover from that. Um it turns out that they kind of waited way too long to come to
Mm,
therapy.
yeah.
And there was like just a breakdown of communication, breakdown of trust on both sides, not just one. Um, and through the therapy process, like one half of the partner was like unsure of what they wanted to do. And I just kept saying, like, I can't make this decision for you. This is something that you really have to like search for. And then they
Hmm.
dropped out of therapy, and I kept seeing the other half, and the other half told me that they filed for divorce,
Oh,
that
wow.
the one that dropped out of therapy filed for divorce.
Right,
So then
right,
it
right,
shifted from couples work to now supporting the half that didn't want the divorce through
right,
the divorce,
right, right. What are so because all of this is like really tough, I would imagine, for a couple, especially because like when you're in a relationship or when you are married, where you have made a commitment to each other and you go in being like, I love this person, this is my forever person, I'm going to make this work no matter what, till death
Yeah.
do us part, like all of this. um but it's tough to maintain that, especially from a marriage perspective for so
Hmm.
long. So in your experience with these couples that come to therapy, what are some factors that can contribute to the success of couples therapy?
I think being open-minded
Hmm.
is a big one. I think sometimes when couples, by the time they come to therapy, again, because I think most couples wait too long, I
Hmm.
think by the time that they come to therapy, they're so hurt that they just want their partner to understand their hurt.
Hmm.
Um, so I think yes, part of it is an open mind, but I think the other part is is being open to understanding your partner instead of being understood.
Hmm.
Um, because I find like seek to understand really helps. Um, because most fights, if you think about like most fights that you've had with a significant other, it's why don't you just understand me, hear me, and
Hmm.
like you get louder
Right.
and louder hoping that they're going to hear you. And so I think in therapy, if you take the time to really hear, whether hear your partner or hear your therapist translate what your partner is saying,
Right.
and really just try and get like, put yourself in your partner's shoes, I think will really, really help, because it'll build the empathy, it'll build the compassion, it'll build the understanding. And if you both are doing that, then that need to feel heard and understood will be
Hmm.
satisfied.
Right, right. So I would imagine that not every couple that comes to you, it's like both of them are like gun ho about going to therapy. I would imagine there's going to be some times where one or the other is like, oh my God, all right, here we go. I don't want to be here, but I'm here because the other person asked me to. How do you handle
Including my own marriage.
yeah. Yeah. How do you
Yeah.
handle how do you handle that? Like how I guess if you don't mind answering from both a person that goes to, therapy, couples therapy,
Yeah.
and a person that does it as well.
Yeah, not a problem. So as the therapists, right? Like one of the things that I do when it's the half of the couple that's being dragged to therapy and they
Mm-hmm.
don't really want to be there, I validate their feelings,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to say I side with them, but I'm really empathetic with them, and I
Mm-hmm.
try and build rapport with them because I've already
Mm-hmm.
got a buy-in with the person
Yeah.
who dragged them to therapy. So now
Right.
I've got to like really get them on my side and build that rapport, build that trust. And so that as the therapist, that's pretty much kind of what I do. As a client, like so my husband and I are in couples counseling currently,
Mm-hmm.
because I see couples that wait too long, and I was like, we're
Mm-hmm.
not doing that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and at first he was like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, and now I'm like, I think we're good, like I don't think we need to keep going. He's like, no, I want to keep going.
Oh, well, that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
It means that he obviously got something like really good out of
I
that.
think, yeah, go. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think he did. I think he got he has an outlet now that's other than
Mm-hmm.
me.
Right. I think we all need that sometimes, and that's one of the reasons why I love going to therapy for that very reason. I put up a post recently about how like I had to switch therapists because my previous therapist has moved on to a different venture, and so I have to switch to a new therapist at the practice. And I was in the post I was explaining how frustrating it's been for me because the process of getting this new therapist at this practice has just been really annoying, right? um and somebody had commented, you don't need to go to therapy, just go talk to a friend. And I was like, I mean, I do. Like I do talk to friends, and friends, definitely help, but like that kind of camaraderie and validation and friendship side of it like really does help. But to your point about like your husband getting, something important out of this to kind of vent to and talk to with an unbiased point of view, like that's why I like going to a therapist as well. Like nothing against my friends, because my friends obviously always have my best interest at heart and they love me and all of that, but they're also very biased. They're very biased, and my therapist is not. My therapist will keep it real because there isn't necessarily like an emotional attachment to it, like it's not like that. So it's actually a little bit easier for me to use her as an outlet to get stuff off my chest. And I would imagine maybe that's what your husband has experienced
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I think it's that. And I mean, so like full transparency, originally I wanted him to go to individual therapy. He's just
Hmm.
getting like frustrated and angry. But he's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not doing that. I was like, all
Hmm.
right, well, let's go to couples because it is impacting the marriage. It's impacting the
Right.
relationship. And so we went, and at first he was like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. Like, this is weird. But
Hmm.
then he started monopolizing the session. But
You're
it
like, I'm
gave.
here too. I'm here too.
Yeah. But I mean, and also too, like we're in the early stages of parenting. Like we have a 2.5 year
Hmm.
old, and that can be really difficult on couples. And like
Sure.
you kind of become roommates too. So it's just been good because it's like he'll say stuff, but when you're emotionally, like you said, like when you're emotionally attached to a person, there's a bias. And
Hmm.
so being able to have him say stuff in couples therapy, the therapist hear it from an unbiased ear, and then parrot it or paraphrase or whatever it back to us, I'm
Hmm.
hearing it differently as his partner. And so I'm
Right.
having like a better or different understanding of what's actually going on with my husband because I'm hearing it now with an unbiased ear.
Hmm.
And so as a therapist, I guess too, like I didn't realize, but like now that I'm reflecting on it, I do that for my clients as well, where
Right.
one of them's saying something and the other one's just not hearing it. And so then I say, wait, hold on, like I think this is what your partner is trying to say. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then it blah 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 blah. And they're like, yeah,
Hmm.
that's exactly it. And they're like, oh, I never really, why didn't you just say that? And like, and so
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of is, it gives you that unbiased
Hmm.
perspective of what's going on with your partner when sometimes they don't have
Right.
the words to explain it or you
Hmm.
don't have the ear to hear it.
Right, right. You had mentioned earlier about, trust and infidelity and things like that. Is that a common thing that you see talked about with their with couples that come to you, like is or even not to you specifically, but you from other therapists that you speak with, trust and infidelity, which is that like a
Yeah.
really big thing that happens?
So me, no, because that's not my niche. There are
Hmm.
therapists that specifically do infidelity.
Okay.
Like that's
Hmm.
their niche. I imagine it comes up quite a bit. If there's therapists that that's their niche.
Hmm. Sure. Sure.
But yeah, that's not really my niche. The infidelity part. Trust. I
Hmm.
mean, I feel like there's so many reasons why trust needs to be rebuilt.
Hmm.
I see that. I think most of the parents that or the most of the couples that I see come for parenting and
Hmm.
for perinatal because that's my
Hmm.
specialty. I'm perinatal certified.
Hmm.
And I kind of want to become a parenting coach. So
Hmm.
I kind of moonlight that way. And I tell
Yeah.
all of my people like I am biased when it comes to parenting. Like this is my perspective and my lens that I use. So if you don't like it,
Right.
go find somebody else.
Right. 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 So, oh, I guess with the couples that come to you for whatever reason that they come to you, is it easier for them to be there in person, or is it or virtual? Like, do you feel like it's a different dynamic for the couple if it's virtual than if they're there in person?
It depends. So I a lot of my couples are in the same room
Right.
and then it's me. And that's
Hmm.
I don't think that is different. When it gets different is then they're calling in from two different spaces.
Oh, right, right. Do you advise against that?
No, I think it
Hmm.
just depends on where the couple like is. Like so the
Hmm.
couple that I'm working on parenting stuff, like one was at her on her lunch break at work and the other one was at home,
Hmm.
and because it's parenting and it's not so much them,
Hmm.
which it is them, but there's
Hmm.
they're not against each other. They're
Right. So
working.
it's not a bad thing at all. It's just it depends on the situation.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And I
Right.
don't see anybody in person anymore. So
Hmm. Not even me. I wanted to hang out. You're like, no, I'm good.
I told you come to Florida.
No, it's too, quote, cold.
It's freezing, but it's warmer
50,
than where you are.
50 degrees is not cold. Oh my goodness. It is not cold. That is
When it
not
was
cold.
80 yesterday, it is cold.
When I was in California last week, it was like maybe 55 degrees. And you would have thought that California had a freaking snowstorm. People are like bundled up and shivering and "Oh, so
It's
cold.
not the
It's
same. California is
55."
dry. It's a desert. It's dry. It is not the same. Just like our
I
heat is not the same.
You're what?
Our heat is not the same. Our
Oh,
hot,
heat.
Florida
I
hot.
thought you said feet. I was like, okay, what does that have to do with literally anything that we're talking about?
No, sir.
Our feet are different. Let that sink in for a
They
second. They're
might be.
different.
They
Let
might
that
be.
sink.
Our beaches are warmer. We're
I just don't
barefoot
want
more
to, I don't
often.
care whether it's a dry cold or a humid
Okay.
cold. I don't care. I live in the Northeast. That's cold.
hmm
That's cold.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying
I just don't want
50
to hear
degrees
y'all
in Florida
complaining.
is different than 50 degrees in the Northeast.
Yeah, it's better.
Florida 50? No, it's gross.
Yes, better than the Northeast 50.
Is it?
Well, better than Northeast cold, I mean.
Right, but I'm saying 50 degrees versus 50 degrees. Florida 50 degrees sucks.
But
It's
okay.
cold.
Next time
We'll take a
I'm
poll.
gonna not even I'm gonna do a whole podcast on this. I'm not gonna tell you what it is beforehand.
In,
Actually, I
invite your
might, but
Floridians.
you're gonna
Yeah, invite your
forget.
Floridians. They'll tell you. Bone chilling.
I can't. Um, so in regards to like parenting and things like that, what are some
Yeah.
common like things that you talk to couples about when it comes to therapy? Like what is or parenting, I mean. Like what are some common issues that you see them run into?
Um, so the I think the most common is you have parents that I love you couples, but you don't talk about parenting or child rearing before you get married.
Ooh.
So now here you are married with kids who are like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and you're like, I hate the way my partner parents. Well, you guys not talk
Ooh.
about this?
Right. So you're saying that before a couple gets married and have children, if they do it in that order, if they do it, if they get married at all, whatever it may be, um, you're saying that they don't talk about what their parenting style is?
Correct. Or what they would
Okay.
want for their parent. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Do you think they'll know?
single people, wait, single people out there, single people. When
Right.
you are dating someone and you are like, oh, do you want kids? Yeah, I want kids. Don't stop there. What religion do you want to raise them? What are your values that you want to put into them?
Ask
Do
all of
you
this on the
believe?
first date. First date.
Yeah, first date. Why not? Well, it depends on how old you are. I mean, like if you're like
True.
40,
That's
yes,
true.
first date,
That's
absolutely.
true. You're not wrong. Actually, you're not wrong.
um, yeah, because the older you get when you're single, it's like dog years. Like you gotta go, you gotta go.
You're saying this to the single person. You're married. You're saying this to the single person. I don't want to hear it.
You're younger than me, aren't you?
Yeah, but still, I'm reaching 40. I'm almost there.
That's okay. My husband's 43. It's fine. You're good. You have time.
Oh, oh. Anyway, so but like, what if how would they know like what their parenting
So they
style,
might
or
not know their
what if they
parenting
don't know?
style, but they know you know your values. You know what's important to you. You might not know your style
Hmm.
because I'll tell you what, before I had a kid, I was like, it's gonna be like this and
Yeah,
rigid, and my kid's not gonna do this, and my kid's not gonna do that, and no
yeah.
sleeping in the bed, and then I had a kid, and now I'm like, child-led everything. But I knew the main things. Like I knew corporal punishment was a
Hmm.
no-go. Like we
Hmm.
are not hitting our children. Like that's
Hmm.
just not a thing.
Right.
Um, Yelling. Mm-mm. There are other ways you can express your emotions. We're not yelling at
Hmm.
our kids. Those are things that I knew beforehand.
Right. So you're saying that there are couples that come through that have not had these conversations,
And
and
they're arguing
so
about what religion to raise their kids. Like,
wow, yeah. Yeah, especially if they're married, they should probably have had that conversation at the altar at the very least.
hmm yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
So I think it's just, and again, like allowance. Do we do allowance? Do we not do allowance? And you might
Hmm.
not know before you have kids, but again, you're having these executive meetings. If you're
Right.
having these meetings, you can be checking in, you can be communicating, you can be talking about all these things, but couples don't talk about it. Mm-mm. A lot of couples don't talk about it. The couples I
Right.
see aren't talking
Right.
about these things.
Is that hard to do, right? So like I'm thinking like I'll put me in this position, right? Let's just say I'm out there talking, right? Or dating, right? And we get the basics down of like the children situation, right? One of the examples you used was that like the child may be 8, 9, 10 years old, right? And like there's probably going to be some things that like I because I'm not a parent, so like I have no idea what might actually be an issue and what might need to be a conversation. So like how do couples navigate that before having children in the first place? Or is it one of those things where it's like, okay, we just need to make sure we have that ongoing communication, like
Yeah.
before, like all of
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
So much of parenting is like winging it. You know what I mean? Like there's no like,
Hmm.
I mean, there's books, but there's no book, there's no manual.
Yeah.
And like, and also too, like, depending on your kid, it depends on like the
Hmm.
kind of kid you have, you know? And
Hmm.
so I think again, it just goes back to like the basic stuff, like the principles, right?
Hmm.
Um, what kind of parent do you want to be, you know?
Hmm.
Um, and can you be that person? Like, are
Right.
you there? I mean, I know 10 years ago, um, I I was not a patient person.
Right.
And
Right.
I don't know where it came from, but now I think, and I think my husband would agree, I'm
Hmm.
pretty patient.
Right.
Um, you know,
So with these couples and parenting, if there's a couple that's listening right now and they're starting to reach the phase of their relationship where this might be a topic of conversation, whether they're just dating, or getting married soon, or they're already married and they're trying to have children, or they already do have children, all of that. If they're listening right now, um what would you say to them just as general advice?
I would say communicate, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think you don't have to be the same type of parent, but
Mm-hmm.
you want to make sure that you guys are both in the same chapter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
That's
mean?
fair. Yeah.
And I think the way we parent evolves over time too. But I think just constantly keeping a pulse, you
Mm-hmm.
know, on that and being a united front, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Methods are many and principles are few. Methods may change, but principles never do, right? And so,
Did you just
um,
rap? Were you just rapping? I
maybe.
think you just when's your album dropping? I'll buy it.
I could do some poetry slams. Don't worry.
I would pay money to see this. Um, wait, wait. The other thing, as you were talking, one of the other things that came to mind is um parents that in which say they're parenting the other's child, like say it's not their blood
Mhm.
related child. Do you
Yeah.
find that couples come to you with issues in that regard as well?
I have not had a lot of experience with blended families.
Yeah.
Um, However, I think again, it's just having that conversation. So I came from a blended family. Like
Mm-hmm.
my stepfather basically was like, he said to my mother, "You do all the parenting stuff and like the discipline." He's like, "I'll just be here for the fun." Like he was
Oh,
like, you know, but they had
I was not aware that was an option.
I mean, he didn't want to
Wow.
discipline and
Yeah.
punish, and he's like, that's not my jam, but I will be
Uh-huh.
there for ice cream and pizza. Like,
I mean, in his
but
defense, I'll be there for ice cream and pizza too, because that sounds
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, but that was like their dynamic, you know, and they
Yeah.
talked about that,
And
and
they were on
she
the
was
same
good with it.
page.
She was good with it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, and
Right.
so again, it just goes back to that communication. And if you guys
Mm-hmm.
are like, let's just say my mom wasn't good with it, well, if you guys can't come to an agreement together, go to a therapist. They'll help you
Mm-hmm.
find like that gray area. It doesn't have to be this or that. It could be a
Right.
compromise of the two. And so you don't have to be like, your marriage doesn't have to be on the rocks, your relationship doesn't have to be on the rocks to
Mm-hmm.
go to therapy. Like, go for the small problems, why
Yeah.
not?
Right. Right. I love that. Because I really do say that to anybody that I can, because like to your point at the beginning when you were saying that people will sometimes wait until something's wrong, to go to therapy when you might discover and even possibly prevent some things from happening if you're
Yes.
able to start this process sooner rather than later,
Yeah.
and things like that. I find this fascinating because, like you said, like you have yourself, like I have to like deal with myself, and now I have to deal with a whole nother person whose feelings are
Yep.
valid, who you can't control them, like they're gonna feel the
And we
way
don't
that they feel.
understand their feelings because
Right, right. Like that, I can't imagine how tough that must be for everybody involved. But I would imagine that there are obviously success stories out there from couples that have gone to couples therapy and
oh
made
yeah.
this work. So, um, when do couples know that, hey, I don't think we need to go anymore?
Um, well, so the reason that I was like, I don't think we need therapy anymore to my own husband was
Hmm.
because the whole reason we came to therapy seemed to kind of go away. Like, well,
Hmm.
besides tonight, actually.
Oh.
He doesn't like get really angry anymore. He had a rough day
Hmm.
at work today and he was just
Yeah.
grumpy pants.
Yeah.
But like he used to be just this like grumpy, like quick to anger,
Yeah.
bite your head off person, and he's not that anymore. And so
Hmm.
for me, I'm like, oh, good, we don't need to go. But he still likes going.
Hmm.
So I'm not going to
Yeah.
take that away from him. So I think like if you
Yeah.
feel like you've reached your goals together as a couple
Hmm.
and you both agree,
Hmm.
then you don't have to show up anymore. But if you feel like you're
What's
still
your
getting something from
What's
it,
your
show up.
favorite what's your favorite thing about your husband being a father?
Oh my gosh. My favorite thing about my husband being a father,
Yeah.
there's just like this softer side of him that I never saw before, you
Hmm.
know? Like, okay, he's gonna hate that I said this, but I don't care.
Ah, I love
So
it.
we went and saw Finding Nemo Jr., like the
Okay.
stage performance. And it's like
Yeah.
a bunch of high school kids performing it, but like super
Mhm.
talented kids, right?
Yeah.
We went and saw it. I was like, a 90-minute performance, maybe less. He's crying the whole performance because it's about a father looking for his kid, like the whole
Oh.
show. And he's like, something's wrong with my eyes. This guy's 6'2", broad shoulders, like 200
Yeah.
pounds, does kickboxing. Like he's not a small dude, right? Like he used to be
Yeah.
like a professional musician, like rock star, like F
Yeah.
bomb this, F bomb that, tattoos, like whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cute.
I love hearing stories like that because it's amazing how children when they come into play, how much it changes everybody's life for the better a lot of the time, you know. Like I think it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
feeling. I have two cats, so that's the extent of my children at the moment, but I but I love watching from afar. I enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. He was always great with kids. Like he was like the fun uncle, but he had no
Mm,
patience and he would be like, "Oh,
mhm.
they're getting annoying. I'm gonna go home." You
That's me.
know?
That's me.
Yeah.
It's like I'll watch your kid, like my nephews and my nieces when they were younger. I was happy because like I'll babysit them for like a night, but like you're gonna take them right on back tomorrow.
Hmm.
Like this is not an ongoing thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah. He
awesome.
never wanted kids until, we got serious. And then he was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
let's have some kids."
Oh, I love
Now he
it.
wants another one. I'm like, one and
Ooh.
done.
How are babies made? I'm kidding. Don't answer that. We answered that earlier. We answered that earlier in the podcast. Yes, that's called full circle, my friend. Aren't you
Try to
happy you're
stand
here?
up over here.
Aren't you happy that you're here? Aren't you
Yeah.
happy?
No, I am. I am. It's fine.
I love it. Chelsie, thank you for sitting and chatting with me. And uh, like I think that there's a lot of I get a lot of messages and comments from people that are in relationships and are married that have children that are parents and want to make sure that their relationship is as strong as possible. And I know that a lot of them listen to this, so I hope that they got something out of that. I know that like it has some really valuable information. So if you're listening or watching right now and you're like, hey, yeah, this really helped me, shoot me a message and let me know, because
Yeah.
that kind of stuff means a lot to us. To my friend Chelsie here, this conversation is always enlightening, and I love you and I appreciate you coming back on. How many times is this?
7?
Has it been 7 times?
I think so.
Oh my God. 7 times. Wow. And I have yet to meet you in person.
I
You might
know.
not be real. You might be AI.
No, I'm real because my friend.
That is true. Well, I mean, oh, I did meet her in person. So yeah, I guess never mind. She's real.
You
I
met her
did
in person
confirm.
before me.
I did confirm that she is a real life person. Yes.
Yes, I know.
No, I appreciate shout out to Andrea, who I know is listening
Hey,
right
girl.
now. So Chelsie, thank you again for listening, for coming here. If anybody's listening right now and you're like, hey, I like this Chelsie chick and I want to get more information about her, I'm going to include the website for Healthy Minds and More, counseling services in the description of this podcast, and send her an email. Ask whatever you need, and she'll be
Yeah,
here to
anytime.
assist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I would
What?
like to make a book recommendation, and I'm not,
Ooh.
yeah, like I'm not, what's it called when you like get money for making recommendations for things? I don't even know. Um,
You're not a spokesperson. You're not getting paid for it. You're
yeah,
making a
no,
genuine, non-paid, non-advertisement recommendation for a book.
correct. Yeah, it's Raising Good Humans. It's a great book. Um, Even if you don't have children and
Mhm.
you're thinking, maybe I want one, Raising Good Humans. It's a lot of good self work.
Amazing. Your check is in the mail. Uh,
I don't even remember the author, so you guys are just gonna have to Google it.
okay.
And
No,
the author of Raising Good
how about
Humans,
this?
I'm expecting my check.
I will make sure that people can just click to go to it. So I'll find it. I'll do the work.
I could do the
And
work and send it to you.
No, it's fine. See, now we're a couple arguing. This is what it's like. No, don't
No,
worry.
let
I'll
me
do the
serve
work.
on you. No, I'll serve on you. No, you serve, I'll serve. You serve. Yeah.
No, I'll get I'll get the book, and then I will include that so people just have to click and buy it. And if you're the author and you're listening right here, I don't charge that much. So I'm kidding. It's for free.
Sponsorship.
But yeah, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Chelsie, thank you so much for being here. As always, much love, good vibes, and I will talk to you later.
Later.
Bye. See
Bye.
ya.